Okay, so episode 70, we're here with Ollie from Sink Golf. Derek's not here. Derek's doing something else without me as usual. This one's also a little bit different. We're recording on a Saturday versus our normal Tuesday night, mainly because you're out of the UK, so there's a big time difference between us. It's 11 a.m. right here in Minnesota. You said it's about 5 p.m. your time.
Yeah, 5 p.m. here in the UK. Yeah, yeah.
So if we would have done it at our normal time, it would have been like super early for you the next day. And I didn't want that just because I would have felt bad, even though you had offered that that'd be okay. I didn't want that per se. But yeah, joined by Sync Golf this week. Very excited to have you on. We've been talking about it for a couple months now. And I'm ready to kind of dive into what Sync Golf is and learn about your design elements and how everything comes together.
Awesome, sweet. Yeah, so it's just myself here at Sync. Um, Sort of started the brand in 2019. At the time, I was living in New Zealand. Me and my partner, um, Charlotte. Yeah, we were living in New Zealand, and I've always done engineering. Started off doing sheet metal fabrication. And then when I was living in New Zealand, I was doing more CNC machining, like milling machines and lathes sort of thing. Um, and the brand sort of started from, I got chatting to a guy out there he was actually from Czech Republic. And he said to me, like, have you ever had a little go on a mill sort of thing? And he taught me the mill side of things. And then he said, like, oh, obviously you're really keen golfer, keen engineer. This is what my friend sort of has been working on as a little hobby over in Czech. And I was like checking out a video, machining a putter, and I was like straight away, yeah, hooked. And yeah, from then on, I was just fully hooked about what these machines can do, sort of the capability of the machines themselves. And then it sort of got me thinking about what I can sort of get to work on as such. And sort of I was chatting to him, and I said, right, where do I start? And he said, I've got to teach you CAD. So he taught me a little bit about CAD, and then taught me all the machining side of things. And then I sort of chatting to him, at the start, when I sort of went into work and said, right, I want to build a business, I want to create something here, and he said, we were just having a general Monday morning chat, and he said, you play golf at weekend, like you sink the ball like this in the hole. And I was like, well, yeah, it's a pretty cool name. So just sort of Sink come from his Czech accent of not being able to speak English too well. And yeah, it was really good guy actually. And he taught me a lot on the CNC side and then on the CAD side. And then we returned back to the UK, and I was like obsessed with, wanting to give it a go. So sort of took a bit of a loan out, bought this CNC machine, Dugard Eagle 760 3-axis miller machine, put it in the sort of the factory, and I did not have a clue what to do with it. I didn't have a clue how to turn it on. All these buttons up here. I was like, yeah, not a clue what to do, sort of thing. And at the time, I worked my full time job for about 2.5 years. And then in the evenings and weekends, I was then working on this, and yeah, pretty much learning. And then took me about a year to learn, and then yeah, really dug into machining the putters from then on, really. And then got married in April last year, and in June I pretty much went full time at it. It I was doing sheet metal fabrication at the time, like 40-hour week, and it was just all a bit too much. So I said, right, I need to something's gotta give. I need yeah, I need some hours back in my life. So I pretty much jumped straight into it. It's June last year, June 22, and then yeah, went from there really. Just every build sort of posted on Instagram, and then on to the next one, next sort of customer, next friend as such. And yeah, it's just grown and grown and grown, and yeah, it's gone from strength to strength really.
Yeah, it's super cool for me because I like to watch the videos of the machines actually like milling the metal and everything.
Oh
To
yeah,
me, that's one of like the super satisfying things to watch.
yeah,
It's
right,
kind of
yeah,
like you ever run across those videos of people like power washing things and it's just like,
yeah,
oh, it's so clean.
yeah, yeah,
That's how I
yeah,
feel
totally.
like it is with the pieces of metal with the heads. I took a
Yeah,
CNC class in high school. I could never do it. I built Legos and it took me like 3 weeks on the machine. So there's always an appreciation on my end for people who can do CNC.
nice.
My grandfather did it. I I don't have the patience. Um, a close friend of mine welds and everything too. So
Yeah,
seeing
nice.
all the intricacies in metal and everything, and then even, late last year we had Mark from Kraken on. Mark
Oh
does a
yeah,
lot of the same things, but his is smaller and intricate. He does putters and everything as well, but like his stuff is so small and intricate. I
yeah,
could
yeah,
never. There's a level of admiration for that I have for people who can work with metals and CNC and everything that I can't quite
yeah.
explain. But it's truly workable art, and for me, that's the coolest part.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, so I sort of I checked out his page when I listened to the episode sort of thing, and yeah, some of his stuff, like some of the little ball markers, is insane. Like some of the fixturing he'd have to make to machine the first one and flip it and sort of machine the second part is yeah. There's a lot of patience in that. Oh yeah.
He sent us each little like lightning bolt repair
Oh
tools,
yeah, yeah. Nice,
and
nice.
I thought the black on the inside was leather because I was like, oh yeah, you just gotta cut the leather and glue it in. It's wood, and
Really?
it's
Wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
it's I don't
Yeah,
remember what kind of wood it is. He says it maybe he says in the episode, maybe it was off air.
yeah,
Um, yeah, that's wood. So he had to cut the wood, laser do everything, and then laser
wow.
our logo in.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
I'm
Awesome.
almost afraid to use it because it is so intricate and so cool, but
That's
I
it.
know
Yeah.
he'd get mad if I didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. You almost like yeah with some of the putters like I send out, people email me or message me or call me and say, oh, this is so nice. Like I almost just want to wall hang it, and I'm like, no, just use and abuse it. Just get it out there. Yeah, just roll it. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean some things like putters I would imagine get better over age like with the patina and everything,
yeah, right.
especially like
Yeah,
with the markers, because our oils we touch them and everything and
yeah, yeah,
it creates something unique for everybody and that's not something that happens unless you use it. So it's always this fine line of it's so intricate, it's so cool, it's so artistic, but it's a
yeah,
tool
yeah,
to be used?
yeah. Totally. Yeah. Oh, that's
It's like
awesome.
it's like I don't know if you're in like classic cars or anything, but like I feel that way about cars too. Like people always have these
Yeah.
really nice classic cars here, and then they sit around, and I'm like, I would drive it till it exploded, type of thing? Like,
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. So yeah, my first car actually was a VW Mark One Golf
ooh,
convertible cabriolet thing, and it was
yeah,
like 1992. And yeah, obviously you know what it's like as first car. You just want to just rip it into the ground almost, and it
mhm.
was yeah, it was so fun. But people used to say like, oh, like take it easy, like it's a nice old car.
Yeah. My first car was a 2004 Malibu Max,
Oh,
so it was a Chevy Malibu with a hatchback
yeah,
basically. And I
sweet,
drove
yeah,
that thing until the transmission blew up. I had like 250 some thousand miles. And oh, I miss that car. That car will never be a classic, at least not to anybody but to me. But no, I definitely get that
yeah,
feeling, and
yeah,
golfs are really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's like that with golf. Like you could have irons that are old and can be like unique sort of thing, and some people might say almost like keep them looking nice sort of thing. But or you can have them out there, wear them into the ground.
The
Yeah,
cool thing with golf clubs and like what really sticks out to me is the more dings and dents and scratches, the more stories you can tell with the
yeah,
clubs. Um, like back there, you can kind of see it.
yeah.
There's that club with the head cover. That's a super old ping putter that we pulled out of my buddy's
Oh,
parents' garage. It's like a ping
nice. Yeah,
cushion. Um, it's all dented and scratched, and there's all sorts of stuff in the metal. But it just makes you wonder, like, what that putter did, what courses it was on, who had
yeah,
it, stuff like that.
yeah.
To me, it tells a
Nice.
story that new clubs can't tell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely. And I feel that way about the custom putter side of things. You know, when people come to me, I really like to get quite deep into, all the fine details of what they want, with like custom stamping if they want their kids' names. Like I'm sort of working on something at the moment. It's a anniversary present. For, and she basically wants like the date on there, and then like the code of where the postcode was of the venue, sort of thing. So that's pretty cool. Like you can have nice little details on within the putters that really can tell a story almost, you know.
Do you follow Tyson Lamb? He does the wood putters.
Yeah. So I've seen some of his stuff before come up on the older Explorer section on Instagram, and
He just
some of his
he
stuff is just insane. Yeah.
He just did one for Bill Murray, and he was able to
Right.
incorporate
Really?
like a bow tie from a painting, and it was for like
Wow.
some kind of charity event. And Bill
Right.
Murray sank the putt through the putter, but it had some
Really?
kind of bow tie from a painting. Yeah, and I thought that
Yeah.
little feature, to most people, like, oh, that's so cool. But
Yeah. Yeah.
whoever commissioned it is probably like, that is like the coolest thing on earth.
Yeah. Yeah. Little fine details go a long way like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Awesome.
So let's kind of transition back to the sink golf side of things.
Yeah.
Um, so we talked about when it started. Congrats on getting married, by the way. I didn't want to interrupt
Oh,
you.
thank you. Appreciate
I'm not
that.
married. Derek's married. I'm not at that phase of my life yet, and that's okay. Um, so you offer a bunch of different styles of heads, right? Which
Yeah.
one is the most popular?
So it's funny, like from week to week, it changes. Like it's almost whoever's doing really well on tour, they the people sort of like want that as such. So last year, or not last year, year before, Phil was doing really well. I think he won the US Open, and then that's when I sort of created the 92. Someone come to me and said, "Look, I want the nine this," and then we sort of named it 92, sort of thing. And then the 87 was created from something similar to what someone drew in and said, something what Phil can roll, similar to what he rolls, sort of thing. And then last year, Cam Smith over here in Scotland won the Open, and then I was pretty much went with a model that someone drew in again and was like, look, I pretty much want this, a short flow neck with a good amount of toe hang. So it all depends on who's doing well at the time, sort of putting wise. At the moment, the Ace wide blade has been really popular. Like a good firm wide blade. Um, Mainly doing those in like a quite short neck, with a good amount of toe hang. So it seems to go through phases. Sort of a couple of months ago in November, I think I done a good handful of sort of 92 models with the good amount of a lot of toe hang, sort of thing, like flow neck, just welded flow neck, and then fully sort of smoothed out. So the weld, you can't really see the weld, sort of thing. Yeah, sort of hours of smoothing and filing, and yeah,
That is not at all what I was expecting, and I'm very happy that it was what I was expecting. I
yeah,
thought it was gonna be
yeah,
like, yeah, this model by far. I never would have guessed it kind of varies, but I guess that does make sense because we see um kind of that way like on the buying side of things for what it seems like with people. It's like, oh man, if so and so's on, that's all I want is that brand. Like whether it's
Yeah,
Cobra,
yeah,
Titleist, stuff like that. I guess I
yeah,
didn't
right,
equate
yeah,
that to putters.
yeah, yeah. It's funny. Like I've sort of seen that over probably the last 8 9 months, and then it's almost like if I do a sort of a reel or a post and that does well, then I will almost see 2 3 weeks later I'll see a lot of that model, like orders for that model come in, or spec sheet requirements for that model sort of come in sort of thing. And yeah, it makes it quite nice because I've got about 11 12 models that are sort of on the CAD system, good to go, straight on here, ready to be machines that they can sort of choose from. So yeah, it's a sort of a good amount, a nice amount for myself. Not too many, not
Mhm.
too little. So my head's not all over the place, sort of thing.
Yeah, it'd probably be too hard having 15 or 16 different styles
Yeah,
because I feel
right.
like that's
Yeah,
almost overwhelming.
yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of the time when people, if they come in for a fitting, or if I'm say sort of organise a call and chat to someone on the phone, sort of thing, a lot of the time they just at the moment with the 11 sort of models that are there, they almost find it really hard to pick one of them. Um, Sort of normally have to explain sort of what one they definitely want to go for, sort of thing, and they say, "Oh, almost too many options," sort of thing. So I've got to kind of yeah, not put too many out there. I've got quite a few on there that I'm ready to put out, but I'm just sort of hold off at the moment.
Yeah, I work in the running industry, so I'm always fitting people for shoes and whatnot,
Right,
and they always look at the
nice.
wall and they go, I don't know where to start. So what I do, I always pull three and go, okay,
Yeah,
you like this,
yeah,
this, or this, and then depending on what they like, you can kind of branch off towards that direction. Um,
yeah,
I've never been fit for a putter, so I guess I don't understand how that craziness would feel. Because personally, I have
yeah.
a favorite style that you make. Um,
Right.
so we'll get to that though, I
Yeah,
think they're all really cool, but they're all very unique at the same time.
yeah.
Um, so when you make the putters, right, are there different metal options? So like, is it all just carbon steel? Do you get some that are different?
So it's either carbon steel, 303 stainless steel, or I've got a sort of a batch of copper that I've had in, and then a batch of brass recently. So, but mainly like 99% will be 303 stainless steel, or yeah, carbon steel, sort of like a mild steel sort of thing. The 303 stainless steel sort of sourced from Italy or Germany. Both the same sort of softness, really, really nice to machine. Can pretty much rip through it as quick as the carbon steel, which is nice. Because when I was sort of getting into the machining side of things, I sort of phone tool makers, tool manufacturers, and say I want to sort of got an idea for these putters that I'm sort of going to be manufacturing, and they said, "Oh, sort of go down the 303 stainless steel route, nice soft stainless." And then pretty much just get billets of that in, batches of that in, probably in 4 to 6 meters at a time, sort of thing. So a good amount. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot.
yeah.
Um, do people ever ask you for like kind of the outlandish metals like Damascus, kind of stuff like that, where it's like you'd like to accommodate, obviously, but like you're just like, that's a little bit higher end, or
Yeah, so I'm sort of recently made a contact here in the UK, and I've always wanted to get into the Damascus. I've sort of done inlays and stuff within the pockets, but I want to do a whole whole build on a Damascus full head sort of thing. Haven't really had time to look at it, but I have had quite a few inquiries regarding it. So I've recently made like a contact here in the UK that forges the Damascus billets together. So that's something in the next, probably in the next few months. I'll be cracking on with maybe throwing a couple out for like a maybe like a limited run or something, you
Yeah.
know.
Damascus is so cool. I'm really into like
Yeah,
the intricacies in it. It's almost like a wood grain where one is never like the other.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I think that side is really cool. Um, I also follow an account who just did like camo oil can putters, and
Oh
I was
wow.
like, that is
Oh,
crazy.
yeah,
That was super cool too. Um,
yeah. That's
okay.
awesome. I've recently started like on the in regards to Damascus. I've like doing a lot of YouTubing with like knife making and that, and just the amount of time that these guys put into making these knives and
Mhm.
the patience they must have to go through. Yeah, dialing in
It's
these knives on the
yeah,
machines is cool.
it's unreal. Um, I think that's my frustration when people go, "Oh, that's like so expensive," and it's some, like,
Yeah,
why is it so expensive? It's like, well, the time and
yeah,
effort it takes and everything. And
yeah,
Mark's a
yeah.
great example of that. He just came out with ball markers that are rotors with brakes.
Right. Oh, really?
And yeah, and people are like, "Oh, they're
Yeah.
like $100." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's like the
Right.
most badass
Yeah.
$100 ball marker I've ever seen."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
Exactly.
the time and
Yeah.
effort he puts into those, or like his
Yeah.
putters are expensive.
Yeah.
I feel like you pay for the art and the handman or the
Definitely.
craftsmanship,
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
but you
Totally.
you get to use it.
Yeah. 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 Definitely. Yeah.
No,
Yeah. There's been guys in the US that make some like awesome accessories. And the pricing, yeah, is worth every penny. You know, some of the fixturing they must have to make yeah, to make some of the tools and that, yeah, is pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I just ordered one of the rotor ball markers because
Oh,
like I love
really?
cars. I love that
Nice.
kind
Yes.
of. I love
That's
how.
it.
I mean, I love cars. So like the little like intricacies of that, I think
Yeah.
are just unreal. And Mark is such an artist.
Right.
I don't know how
Yeah.
big they
Yeah.
are. I'd imagine like the size of like a quarter.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. His work is sort of when I checked him out, his work is yeah insane.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I should have grabbed a couple because I have a couple of his stuff and it's unreal. Um, so my favorite head shape that you offer is the Sussex 2.0.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Nice. Nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that one like speaks to me. Um, the Sussex is fine, and then I'm not a big fan of like wide blades. They like freak me out a
Right.
little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like really big putters, like mentally, just don't
Too
work
much.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
That's
necessary.
interesting. Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, that's all right. I was just going to say, yeah, that's really interesting, you know, because I had someone in yesterday that had his eye on the wide blade, the Ace wide blade, and he ended up going for yeah, just the Sussex, almost like opposite shapes. One's got fat bit behind it, and then the other one's got like almost half behind it, and not too much to it. Um, so yeah, looking at it, you're almost thinking, what it's a lot, almost looks a lot less forgiving, you know.
Yeah. For me, if it's too big, I feel like I have to like overswing it.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause I've tried like the big spiders. I've tried the just like even bigger mallet styles. I can't do it. So like I have two putters that we're gonna talk about, just kind of like in terms of shape and everything. But they're the two I
yeah.
consistently go back to, and they're both kind of similar to the Sussex, where they're not
Nice, yeah,
super big. Um,
yeah.
so that one's my favorite. Do you have a favorite head that you like to make, or just that maybe that's the first one and it's one that you use?
So I quite like I like making the 87, the 1987 and the 1992 models. There's a probably 30% machining on them, and then the rest is all done pretty much welding, just all of the fabrication side really, the welding, sort of buffing, cleaning, fettling, and then maybe like a little bit of filing sort of thing. So there's a good amount of time that goes into it, but I do enjoy that side of it, the fabrication side. Um, and then my first ever model was the Sussex. Yeah, so I've got obviously a soft spot for that. Um, yeah, definitely a soft spot for that. But I've got like a fitting room upstairs, and the putters are sort of lined up. My bag's sort of kept up there, and every time I go out to play, I'll just grab something random off the shelf. I like to mix it up, just sort of grab one and give that a go, and sort of get a good feel for that, get a
Yeah.
test for that. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. No, I actually have them pulled up right here, so I can kind of follow along
yeah,
with you all the different shapes.
nice,
Um,
nice.
yeah, the 87 and 92 feel almost like classic shapes for putters that when you
Yeah,
said like, oh, what Phil's rolling or whatever, looking at them, yeah, that does look a lot like what Phil plays or what a lot of the older
yeah,
guys on tour play, or even like the
yeah,
champions and stuff like that. It's very classic but modern feeling.
yeah. Right. Yeah, yeah. Totally. Yeah,
I think that's really cool. Some of the ones that I really like, but don't quite, or probably wouldn't enjoy using, but like the look of, would be the starts with an M, the MAUN.
oh, the Monganui.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't pronounce it. I didn't want to butcher it. That one looks super cool, but
yeah,
like depending where the shaft would be super cool too. Like if it was like a center mount or towards the heel would be kind of fun.
yeah. Right. That a lot of people go centered shaft with that one. That's quite
Mhm.
a popular, yeah, sort of centered shaft model as such. The name of that Monganui, that was where we were living in New Zealand. Sort of the
Oh,
town it's called, yeah.
okay.
So like a surf town sort of thing. So I'm into my surfing as well. So I was like had a soft spot for that place. And then the one above that is the Wahi. So that's another town in New Zealand that is a little bit up the coast, probably about an hour and a half hour up the coast. And then the one underneath is Ulu. So that's basically named after Uluwatu in Bali, like a surf spot, sort of wave destination as such. Yeah, and so that I quite like that. The names I've tried to keep them where they've got like a little bit of a story behind them as such. So it just kind of gives the sink something, yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit of a story as
That
such.
that's so cool. Uh
Yeah,
I felt like those three were grouped together for a certain reason, but I could not figure it out.
yeah,
So that is super cool to learn. And then yeah, going back to the 87 and 82, I feel like the 2019 is like a good blend between the two. Am I right? Where it feels like it's a little bit of both, but more
yeah,
modern.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was funny actually. Like there was a guy that sent me an email and said, I love the 92, love the 87. Can I have something um in between pretty much? But with the neck, wanted the neck to be a little bit more, yeah, a little bit closer to the center. So just brought that back bumper, had an angle as such. Um, and with that one, I'm place able to place like a plumber neck on there, and various necks rather than the 92 and the 87. I can only really place probably one or two necks on there to make it feel right at a dress. But yeah, with the 2019, I can, yeah, really change it up and still get the same sort of visual looking down on it, which is quite nice.
Yeah. No, I really like the wide variety that you offer, and I like that it's not like overwhelming to look at, and I like that you have little
Yeah,
notes on all of them. It kind of helped me kind of
yeah,
look at them and go, okay, that's what it's supposed to be like. And then unfortunately, I'm the
yeah,
artistic type, so I'm like, oh, that'd be cool if it was like that, or if it was like
yeah,
that. So I'm like mentally like making these things in my head,
yeah.
um, which luckily kill time because it's a little bit slower here in the winter. Um,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, no, they're all so cool. So can you take me through like the step-by-step process of like if we, because on your website you have a form for a custom, like a custom make form.
Oh yeah.
I totally butchered that. Can you take us like the step-by-step process of how all that works?
Yeah, basically a system that I've recently put in over sort of Christmas period. Um, Sort of a form that you fill out on the website under order a custom. And that form comes to myself just with a quick message of basically what model you want. Um, and then I'll send you a spec sheet like this, just to fully customize. So you can pick like obviously right hand, left hand, shaft, sort of the milling, different types of materials, and then you've got the different finish options. Pick your neck style, if you want any alignment aid as such, and then different grip. I've recently got some new kangaroo leather from Australia, sort of grips in with an SG with the SG logo on. So that's been like a really popular choice. And I've also added like the stability carbon and the stability tour black to the range. And they're doing really well actually. They're sort of really popular. Which has been quite nice. And then obviously you've got like the drawings of the heads, so you can, if you want to fully draw on there, you can, or if you want to chuck it on the email back to me. And then after that's sort of filled out, I'll then give the full price on what it is. And yeah, happy to go ahead. It pretty much goes from there. I'll give you a pretty much an exact time frame of when it will be dispatched. Um, and yeah, it's pretty much the process that I've dialed it in at the moment. Want to try and keep it as easy as possible, for the customer to be able to customize what they want and all the fine details. If they want something, if they want to go all out, if they want to keep it quite simple, nice and simple sort of thing. Um, yeah, pretty much made it. Tried to this new little system is really helping. It's helping production for me in the factory because before I'd talk about all the custom elements on the email and we'd have like 30 emails back and forth. And I'll be sat here like working on the build and always referring back to the emails. Have I got this right? Have I got this right? But now I can just look at the spec sheet. It follows me around the factory, and I can pretty much dial it in spot on this way.
It's almost like your blueprint, right? Like I took
Yeah,
4 years of wood shop in high school, so the final year we had to make our own blueprint, take it around, build
right.
every
Yeah,
building. Me
that's it.
being the lazy senior, I built a three-tier shelf, but it's tapered, so it's super cool. I actually have it hanging up in my room.
Nice, nice.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, the teacher was not very happy with me because it took me all semester to build a three-tier shelf. In my defense, it's really nice. He doesn't see it that way. But it's almost like your blueprint. And really, blueprints are made to help people and kind of simplify the whole process.
yeah, definitely. And like like this way, I've sort of got the pricing on there on the website, and I never wanted to like refine someone to saying it starts from say 900 US dollars or it starts from 1500 US dollars. I wanted to try and say like on the website I've got it. It starts from 420 US dollars, and that would be say for just a real standard build. And then if they wanted to go all out, then it would cost X amount of what they wanted, sort of thing. So
That
wanted
was
to.
something that
Sorry.
that was something that really stood out to me was that it
Yeah,
was way more affordable than a lot of places do. I've seen a
yeah,
lot of places, starts at $800 or starts at,
right.
whatever. And for it to start at $420, I thought was like unreal. So then I had to investigate, and that's how I found your page.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, actually, I typed in putters on Instagram, and then I saw the videos of the milling, and I was like, I'm hooked.
yeah.
Follow.
Awesome,
Um,
awesome.
uh, that to me was what stood out was that how affordable they can be. And I think that is super cool because everybody in golf always says how expensive golf is. And don't get me wrong, a $400 putter is still not cheap, But the
Yeah,
fact that you could do a custom putter for under $500, I feel like that really changes the way people look at that. And I really enjoy that. People
yeah,
could feel like, oh, wow, I'm not being nickeled and dimed for everything.
yeah. I mean, like a lot of a lot of people when they come to me and they say, "Oh, what can I essentially get for that price?" We'll sort of have a chat, and basically, it'll be a standard sort of build, like just say right hand chrome shaft, normal sort of SG milled face, either 303 stainless steel or carbon steel, and then your standard sink grip with like a say like a flow neck and traditionally like sink satin finish as such, and then maybe like initials stamped on, just to get their feet in the water with like a custom sort of thing. So I wanted to try and make it affordable for everyone. I didn't want to exactly target a certain area, maybe. Yeah, hard to sort of put yeah describe and put words on it, but yeah, I wanted to make it affordable for everyone as such. Yeah,
Yeah, you didn't want to I talk about it all the time, in the running industry there are some like stupid expensive running shoes.
yeah,
Nike's a good example. They target like the 2% of runners that want to spend $300 on some running shoes. What you're doing is you're running to include everybody and not alienate a
yeah,
certain group of people. And
yeah,
I really like that. Like I said earlier, golf's expensive and everybody
yeah,
comes on and they always say how expensive it is, but there's
right,
always a company out there trying to make it more affordable and nobody knows. And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
kind of the beauty of podcasts and we're finding these companies and
yeah, definitely,
you're putting just as much work in as everybody else, if not more
right,
work,
yeah.
and you're more affordable than most people are. And I really, really like that. Um, that being said, is there a favorite custom that you've built that you were just like, wow, that is unreal that the customer came up with?
So I, it's a tough one. It's a good question actually. Like,
You're probably not supposed to have favorites.
it's almost like every single one I make and I'm sending out, I'm like, oh, I really don't want to send this. I just want to put this
Mhm.
straight in my bag. Um, but I like the full shine ones, the 303 stainless steel full shine. They sort of catch my eye really nice. Sort of done one, sent it last week. It had cola engraved on it in a light baby blue. Done it as a like a reel on my Instagram, and it had a Stability Tour blackout shaft in it with a SG leather grip, and it yeah felt and looked really nice. The model itself was the 2019. Yeah, and it yeah that one sort of caught my eye. I had a little bit of a soft spot for that one, so that was nice.
I'm looking for it because I'm curious now.
And then I mean, I, I have a soft spot for like the Sussex ones that I send as well. Um, yeah, they're nice, sort of both left and right hand sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, I'd imagine everyone is your favorite, right? And you're not. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like I have a big wall of cameras right there. They're all film
right,
cameras. I
yeah,
keep all the digital stuff in my bag. Everyone's like, Tom, what's your favorite camera? I wholeheartedly no idea. I mean, I
yeah,
have an answer to tell people. It's usually the first one, um, which was a Pentax K2. A friend of mine gave that to me.
uh,
Um, but like, yeah, it's like impossible to choose one for me to go shoot. It's like same thing with my shoes. Like I don't have one that's a favorite. I definitely have ones that I'm
yeah,
like, oh, I really like that. I kind of figured that's how it was with the putters, but I thought there'd maybe be like just something like ridiculous that somebody built, and you're just like, yeah, let's do it. Because I
yeah,
always
yeah,
have ideas like that.
yeah. True. Yeah, I sort of done one December over the Christmas period. It was like came out in like a rustic chocolate color. And that was like a finish that I added to the range, and that one yeah looked really nice. I really liked how that one sort of came out. That was just a Sussex. wide blade. And he wanted the stamping in a little bit of a different area that I'd never done before. And when the spec sheet sort of came through, I was thinking, oh, is that area of the sort of the contour itself going to be stampable? And yeah, gave it a go, and yeah, it came out really nice. Um, and then other things like the engraving, when people send pictures in of the engraved maybe logos, company logos, or engraved pictures. Sometimes if the engraving comes out, yeah, spot on, that's nice to sort of look at and be like, yeah, that's cool, you know.
I saw
The
that
fine
one
detail.
with the drawing of the dogs.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
That one
nice.
I was like, that is so cool that you're able to take that drawing and put it onto a putter. To me, that
Yeah,
was like the most unreal thing. I I don't even know where I would start with that, but to me, it was kind of like when that parent gets like something their kids drew like tattooed on them.
yeah,
That's kind of what I felt like when I saw that one with the dogs. And that when you said
yeah,
that, that was the one I thought of right away.
yeah. So I had a that one was actually for my dad at Christmas. So we've always had like dogs in the family, and we've got me and Charlotte have got cocker spaniel, and then mum and dad have got a spaniel as well. So yeah, we're big spaniel lovers. And last year I done him a Mustang one because he's got like a full Mustang, and then sort of every year I want to make it a tradition to make him a putter. So yeah, this year done him, or yeah, December I done him that one with sort of Ned on the bottom, with Ned sort of engraved underneath
Oh,
the
Ned.
spaniel drawing as such. Yeah, that went down quite well. That was cool.
No, I really like that one because I have a dog. I have a Rottweiler
I do.
mix.
Oh
Yeah, oh
no!
yeah.
Oh wow!
Oh, she's
Awesome!
got an
Awesome!
attitude. Derek's got a little red toy poodle and she has an attitude, but not like my Rottweiler mix. I
Really?
love her.
Yeah.
She's upstairs sleeping, I think.
Oh,
Um, so obviously, something I wanted to ask, and I think this might be really interesting for the listeners to hear.
yeah,
So the podcast itself is sponsored by Odin Golf, and they're out of Germany. So we've had
yeah.
Jordan on a couple times, and Jordan was talking about how in Germany you almost have to have a license to play golf. Is it
Right.
like that in the UK as well? Like, is that just a European thing, or is that
Really?
like just
No.
Germany?
Yeah, I haven't heard of that
Okay.
before. That's interesting. So you have to have like a license to
Don't
apply for it, and
remember.
then
I don't remember the exact. I planned on listening to it so I could break it down, but I totally
oh,
forgot.
yeah,
Something along the lines of it's almost like a driver's license where you have to take a test so you know kind of
yeah.
what you're doing.
What you do in the
Um,
etiquette note. Yeah,
that
yeah,
yeah, I think it's almost like an etiquette type thing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I thought that was really interesting at that time. So I've never had anybody on from the UK before, so I thought it'd be kind of a fun question to ask if that was kind of a
yeah.
universal thing over in Europe or
So sometimes, like, if you join in a golf club, you have to, depending on what club it is, what course, you have to go through like meetings, and then you have to do like a playing test. So you might have to play with like two, three members, to they sort of suss you out, check out who you are, sort of thing, your etiquette on the course. If you're obviously doing the pitch, yeah, divot tools and that, yeah, and just they check out your general etiquette as such. So yeah, that's the almost the test, I'm guessing. The license over here, maybe. Is it like
yeah.
that over where you are yourself?
No,
No, yeah,
no, no,
no.
nobody has etiquette. Well, I shouldn't say nobody has etiquette, but there's a big thing where we're trying to get people to fix their ball marks, repair their
Yeah.
divots. There all those dumb videos you see of people jumping golf carts into the ponds or stuff like that. That's almost always over here. Um, That's so Derek doesn't let me drive the golf cart anymore because I jumped one out of a bunker. The bunker kind of snuck up on me and I hit it. Um, so ever since then I've been not allowed to drive it. So maybe we should
Yeah,
have a license here, maybe just for me. That being
yeah,
said, Derek almost
yeah.
rolled us last summer, so we don't we're almost even. Um, Yeah, I
Is
don't.
that right? When me and my dad I first started playing golf when I was like 16, and sort of can't drive at 16, but you can jump in a golf cart and you can do whatever on the course. And there was this hole that was steep as you like, and sort of drive down it, slam the brakes on, and 360 spin sort of thing. But it was like almost yeah, not a private course, so
Yeah, yeah.
maybe get away with it a little bit.
We were playing one, and his shot went up on this hill, and there were a bunch of little hills along the right hand side. And I think it had just rained, so it's still a little wet. So on our way down the hill, we must have caught something, and the golf cart just started spinning. So we're spinning down this hill, and we're yelling, and there's stuff flying all over. And then it finally stops and leans, and then snaps back. And he's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Dude, my beer's all over the place. I'm a little upset, but otherwise, I
Yeah,
was okay." It was like one of those things where it's like it'd be cool to do it again, but also if we never do it again, I'm okay.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
we should
Totally.
have licenses here. Maybe Germany's onto something.
It's funny, because a lot, like 90% walk here, um, and then the other 10% is sort of golf cart sort of thing. Um, so it's not too popular to be in a golf cart. You've got
Okay.
like companies like Power Caddy that almost click a button and your trolley goes, your bags on the trolley sort of thing. And then a lot of people carry as such. Is it similar over there, or is it?
It depends on the course. Like if it's like an executive, or like Derek and I will play like a par three course, we'll just walk it. I
Yeah,
have a push cart and everything. I put the bag on and we just go.
nice.
Um Generally if it's an 18 hole course, they're big here. A lot of people do walk, but for pace of play, a lot of courses prefer you ride.
Yeah,
Um like there's a course up by my cabin, and the first hole is like a 500 something yard par five.
well,
And
yeah,
it's
nice.
it's kind of an animal. I've seen people walk it, but then that hole takes like 15 minutes and it's
Yeah,
just like constant. So I think most courses want you to ride. I'm
yeah,
not opposed to walking, but I'll just use my push cart and, go. Um, I feel like it's a little bit more fun to ride around here though, depending
yeah,
on the course anyways.
yeah, yeah. You can get in round in like two and a bit, 3 hours, sort of
Hmm.
spot on, Yeah, which is a good amount of time to get round. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean there's smaller 18 hole courses, you just play nine twice, so it's like playing an executive
yeah,
twice. That one you could walk no problem.
yeah,
We've done that
yeah.
before. That's okay. Um, but yeah, I think most people ride here. That'll be interesting. I'll have to like call up Jordan and be like, "Hey, what was that license about again?" Um, so outside of your putters, do you have like a favorite brand? Maybe one that inspires you, one that you would just really like to model your putters after. Like personally, I like Ping. I've always been like a
Yeah,
Ping guy. I actually have two putters right here. And the one that for me kind of started it, I have my Biggie head cover. I don't remember who makes it,
nice,
but
nice.
Biggie's
That's
sweet.
awesome.
I have a Ping Karsten answer too. For me, this was
Oh,
kind
that's
of the
lovely.
putter. I love the
Yeah,
color
nice.
and I love the face and everything. To me, this is
Yeah,
almost like your Sussex, but a little bit different.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe that's why it speaks to me. But, for
yeah.
me, it's Ping. I love the Karsten line. To me, it's one of the original putters out there. I'm also very picky and I love their pistol grips. Tiger
Oh,
uses
nice,
them on
nice.
all of his stuff. Ooh,
Yeah,
totally just bashed my
yeah.
microphone. Not
That's
that there's our
yeah, really nice grip actually. Yeah, it's really nice.
I've got a spare one somewhere because I wanted to put one on the older one just so like I could
Really?
practice it. And then the other putter I've been switching between. This one's out of Massachusetts. It's a smaller company. It's Jackson Golf. He sent us a couple of these, and these things are just wild. I don't know if you can kind of see, but it's like a weird center
Oh yeah.
shaft,
Oh wow. Nice.
and the face actually bows out.
Really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I kind of switched between the two, and both of them for me are so different, and I never see companies quite do the same thing. So I'm just kind of wondering if that's kind of the same thing for you. Like, do you look at Ping, or I know a lot of guys are really into Scotties and stuff like that. Do you
Yeah.
kind of have a favorite brand outside of yours?
Yeah, that's a good question actually because there are sort of each brand has its own niche and its own sort of
Hmm.
touch, almost like identification. I like Ping, the fact that traditional milled, that they I like they've gone back to milling sort of like a one piece sort of thing. Um, yeah, always been a fan of Ping. And I was a massive fan of the Nike method when it came about. They just had like this one piece sort of real thin, um, yeah, almost like an answer style shape. And I was just I had it at the time, and I was hooked when I was rolling it, and I really really liked that. And then I used to like what was sort of almost a little bit similar to the Wahi was the um when Faldo, I think Faldo won the Masters with it, a Wilson sort of like a almost like a hockey, wide hockey thing that he
Okay.
used to use.
Okay.
I think almost like a Scotty Del Mar, is it?
Okay.
Yeah, liked the look of that. But I almost like every brand for what they do, for the special touches that they put on it, for their almost identification. I think every brand's got its nice little niche about it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Ping is, I mean, you kind of hit on it. It's classic. I mean, to
Yeah,
me, obviously they're not the original putter brand. I mean, I could be wrong. They could be, but for me, the look's always classic. To me, it's got the best feel.
yeah,
Something with their face. It could be the metal. It could be just a blend of things. But then, like, I mean, their signature pistol grip to me is probably one of the best. I don't like the really fat ones. They freak me out too. Um,
yeah,
if you notice, a lot of things freak me out. Um, Mainly because I don't like it. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's Ping. I mean, I love them. I mean, this was like my first like real putter, and for me, it's probably one I'll never get rid of for that reason. Um,
nice.
I like the neck. I love the color and just the feel of it. I mean, I've had a lot of good shots with it. Um, but I think it's always interesting to see if there's some kind of inspiration from another brand that inspired a brand to start. Um,
Yeah,
so I have always thought that was really cool.
yeah, I do. Yeah, I do definitely have a sort of soft spot for the Ping stuff. Yeah, sort of good to see their fully milled line come out last year. Yeah, the sort of the
Yeah.
black ver that blackout version they had. That was nice. The fang in that was really nice.
What do you, this is going to be interesting because I just thought of this. What do you think of the 3D printed stuff Cobra's doing with their putters? Because I think that's really interesting.
Uh,
I've never rolled any and I've never held any, but I just think this 3D printed stuff is really cool.
yeah, I think it's cool, like the technology side of it. I think it's good thinking, obviously forward thinking. I'm not too. I sort of rolled a couple before, and yeah, personally wasn't a huge fan. I like the sort of traditional milled lines on putters and
Hmm.
stuff, like the milled edges, the milled sort of effect that it gives when it comes off the mill machine as such. I wasn't really too. It didn't sort of suit my eye well enough. But I've had friends that have rolled it and been like, yeah, these are nice.
Yeah, I'm afraid if I roll one, I'm gonna love it and then have to spend money on it. So I'm like trying to stay away from them for that reason. But I thought when that came out, I thought that was the coolest thing because
Yeah,
before you know it, we're gonna have 3D printed like actual golf clubs, where you can
that's it.
actually
Yeah,
swing them and hit them.
yeah,
Um, I thought that was really cool. Um, that's kind of all I have in terms of like putter related stuff.
yeah.
I'm really happy I was able to kind of pick your brain a little bit and get some design elements from you. We always end the podcast by asking a food related question. Derek and I love food. Obviously, here in Minnesota, we're like a melting pot for a lot of places, so it's super cool. If
Awesome.
we're
Yeah.
ever in, well, we think it is. If we're ever in your side of the world, what is one place we have to eat? Whether it's like a restaurant near you or just some place you've been that isn't directly
Uh,
near you.
yeah. When I've been listening to your sort of podcast the last few months and few weeks, and I was like, what am I going to say to this? Sort of, there's a really good Chinese where I live called the Mandarin Chef, and it's almost like if you live in the town area sort of thing, people that live a few miles away, they'll always refer as that Chinese is the best Chinese. So I've got to say Mandarin Chef Chinese, yeah.
Okay. What is like a traditional like UK dish? Maybe it varies area by area, kind of like it does here. Like in Minnesota, we eat a lot of, I'd say like Scandinavian food, or maybe that's just
Yeah,
my family being
yeah,
Scandinavian. Um, what's something like if we're over there that we have to try? Maybe not like the general cliche kind of stuff that we see in pop culture, but like something
yeah.
that you have to have.
I'd say if you're over, then fish and chips has got to be the goer, or like a roast, like Sunday
Mm.
roast in a sort of maybe like a country pub sort of thing. That's like in the winter time. That's almost like the go to as such. Yeah, check out like a nice Sunday carvery sort of roast sort of thing. Yeah, and then fish and chips. Yeah, down the
Oh,
beach, fish and chips. Yeah, can't
yeah.
beat it.
No, I love a good fried fish and I love a good roast. I actually had roast
Yeah,
for breakfast, which was weird. I put it with an egg and it was phenomenal.
yeah,
Um,
nice. Yeah,
yeah, I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be good or not, but it's in the fridge and it was the last little bit. So I fried it up, put an egg on it, put some cheese, really good. I feel like I'd fit in pretty well there. Uh,
yeah.
I Derek can eat just about anything. He's a little bit picky, but that's okay. We'll find
Have you
something for him to eat.
have you been ever been over this way?
I haven't. I've never left the country, believe it or not.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, you should definitely check it out in the future for sure. It's come in the summertime when
That's
it's
what I've
nice and
heard.
warm. Not yeah, it's not too miserable sort of thing. But yeah, it's nice. Like I've sort of traveled the world and that lived in New Zealand for a good part. Um, and always sort of refer back home. And yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Just try and make it as laid back as possible as such.
A friend of mine has been studying all over the world. So she
Nice,
started in
nice.
Germany and now she went to, maybe she's still there, but she's on like the border of Switzerland and Italy right now.
Yeah,
And I've been like living vicariously through her, seeing everything. And I'm big into architecture. So like I love the Gothic side of things. So the fact that that's where it all started, I definitely want to go. Um, when I got my passport, I think like the next year COVID hit. So obviously I haven't had a
yeah,
chance to
yeah.
use it.
Right.
Um, but I've always wanted to go over there and just kind of experience everything.
Yeah,
Um,
awesome. Yeah,
I'd, im- I'd imagine it's a lot like here in the winter, minus the snow, unless it does
yeah,
snow. I don't,
yeah.
I don't know.
Up north, like Scotland way.
Okay.
Yeah, north. Yeah, definitely golf restricted in Scotland in the winter. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably a lot like here. I'd probably get in fine. I think some family friends have been over there and they really enjoyed it. Yeah, stuff
Nice,
like
nice.
that. I've always wanted to, so if I'm ever out there, I'll for sure let you know. Maybe we can play around or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely. Yeah, drop me a message for sure. Yeah, sort of. You're into your photography, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Oh, nice, awesome. Yeah, what sort of what cameras do you sort of shoot with?
Um, so if it's not like my film stuff, I have
Yeah,
a bunch of different brands. My main camera is Canon. I prefer the Canon stuff. It's not as
yeah, yeah,
crazy buttony like some of the Nikon stuff is.
yeah. Right.
Um, that being said, for the film stuff, I've been shooting Nikon, so who really
Really?
knows
Right.
anymore? Yeah, back in the
Yeah.
day, Nikon was like upper echelon of everything. I have an
Pioneer.
old
Yeah.
Canon or I have an old Nikon F, so it started the F series and
Yeah.
it's straight up metal. So stuff like
Nice.
that.
Nice.
Otherwise, I'm
Yeah.
shooting like the Olympus film stuff like that. I really enjoy. Canon didn't
Yeah.
really take over film until kind of later 80s and 90s type of stuff, but I
Right.
prefer the
Right.
older mechanical film stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I just sort of shoot with an Olympus OMD
Mm.
M5 or the Mark
Oh
III one.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice. Yeah. I
I've
like that
been
nice and sort of small, dainty almost, and it's got the little
Yeah.
flip to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I have an old OM1 and I bought it and somebody had peeled the leatherette off of it. So
Oh,
I
really?
put on
Oh,
like a
yeah.
blue like reptile skin. So I kind of
Right.
put my own little touch on it. But yeah, no, I shoot my OM1 all the time.
Oh,
Um
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. So I'd imagine over there's all sorts of sights and stuff to see. So it's definitely
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
like my bucket list of everything. I just
Yeah.
I don't like doing like the super touristy stuff. I'd like to kind of see things from, you know, a more unique angle or almost a more homey type angle.
Yeah. 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 Right. I get you. Yeah. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Drop me a message if you ever come over, and we'll have a game somewhere for sure.
sure. I mean, I'll hold you to it. I don't care. All right, Ollie, thanks for joining me. We'll have to
Thank
do it
you.
again
Yeah,
with
it's been a
Derek.
pleasure.
Oh yeah, no,
Definitely. Definitely.
anytime.
Awesome. Yeah. Superb.